The New Game Plus mode in Assassin's Creed Shadows changes more than you might think. I would argue that it's actually mandatory to do at least one run if you want to get the most out of Naoe and Yasuke. So let's go over everything, including the rewards. But first, real quick, it's smart to go into New Game Plus prepared. The most important thing you want to do is complete all the different target boards, because they give you a ton of XP and mastery points, and in New Game Plus they will reset. So you can do them all again and get the XP and mastery points again. It's also smart to complete every castle for this reason, to also get the mastery points and legendary items. If you namely have the legendary item from a particular source already in your New Game Plus run, you will get the gold material instead, that you can of course use to fully upgrade an item of your choice to your current level. Amazing to get your favorite gear to the new max level of 80. So these two activities are the most important, but I also went after all the legendary chests before starting New Game Plus, because they also give you gold now if you already opened them before. I got all the scouts and ration upgrades, linked the guides for how to get these in the video description for if you don't have them already, and I did as many orange icons as I wanted to for the knowledge points. These activities will also reset, so it can give you another knowledge point in New Game Plus, and that is needed to reach the higher knowledge ranks. So after rolling credits and completing the Out of Shadows main mission for Tomiko, so getting this scene, you can select New Game Plus from the menu. You will see some choices here, but all of them can be changed later on, apart from the canon mode that of course removes any dialogue choices and romances. So keep that in mind if you do the canon mode on this New Game Plus save, that for example if you then play the DLC on this save, you will also not have dialogue choices and you cannot change it. You can then decide to skip the prologue or begin from the start. I did the prologue for fun because you can already use your strong character, or you can immediately skip to where you get the hideout if you immediately want to start earning XP, because in the prologue, of course, you don't get anything. So now you enter this new playthrough with all your gear, your level and mastery points, your allies and your hideout. But Yasuke is not available immediately, of course, until you reach that point in the main story where you also unlocked him in your first playthrough. Your loadouts will also only unlock after getting Yasuke, and I had to create his loadouts again, as they were sadly not saved over. So I said there are some interesting changes in your New Game Plus playthrough, and one of them is the fact that you can immediately explore the whole map and not be under-leveled, because every region will immediately scale to your current level as you are already high enough. So that's pretty nice. You can also get more scouts, as a lot of sources that you can repeat will give you another scout, like the T-Boil mission or the target you can duel. I also tried getting more rations by completing the Feast for Thought mission, but I sadly only got the XP reward, so it's not worth it to go after all these food vendors again. Ubisoft also added extra knowledge ranks with new passive bonuses, and while they are available in your regular playthrough, you can only reach them in New Game Plus at the time of this recording, because there are simply not enough knowledge points to get in your non-New Game Plus playthrough. Like, you're missing a ton, and that is just one of the reasons why New Game Plus is way more important in Shadows compared to the previous games. We'll go over them. Of course, if you like the video so far, leave a like, that would really help me out, and subscribe for everything Shadows if you haven't already. So another thing is that they added a lot of extra upgrades for skills that require new mastery points. You of course at all times want the 200 unspent mastery points for the 200% extra damage from the amazing trinket for Naoe and Yasuke. If you're not familiar, link to how to get that item in the video description. But yeah, this means that if you want to unlock some of the new upgrades, you will not have enough mastery points in a regular playthrough. Also, reaching the new max level is way easier in New Game Plus thanks to the many main missions, castles and targets you can complete again. Still though, after one New Game Plus playthrough where I only focused on the main missions, I went from level 60 to 67. So even in New Game Plus, you have to complete a ton of extra content to reach the new max level. Why a New Game Plus playthrough is also kinda crucial is because, again, every source that would previously give you a legendary weapon or gear item now gives you gold instead. So upgrading all your favorite items to the max level is way easier in New Game Plus, because you can then use way more of this resource. And you also get access to 2 exclusive new weapons for completing your first New Game Plus run, and especially the one for Naoe is a game changer. So to get these, you need to complete all the main story targets, Yasuke and Naoe's personal storyline, and Jinjiro and Tomiko's quest as well, until you get that Out of the Shadows main mission. Then when watching the epilogue, you get a gold katana for Naoe and one for Yasuke that both have different perks. For Naoe, tools will auto-refund on use in exchange for 150 mon. So every time you use a tool with this katana equipped, the amount will simply not go down. So you have an unlimited amount of tools as long as you got the money. Side note, if you don't have the current tool, like no kunai, then you also cannot throw them. But yeah, I mentioned the kunai, it's also amazing for the smoke bombs and bells, because you will simply not be using them as often, so you will not be wasting a lot of money. But the perk sucks for the shuriken, that are sometimes fun to spam to interrupt or annoy enemies, and then spending 150 mon every time you do this, it can easily add up. So if you want to use the shuriken, simply switch to your other weapon, as then the golden katana perk is not active. Another cool thing is that using the throw a kunai at the closest enemy after an assassination perk also does not cost a kunai anymore with the golden katana. So you can do it endlessly. Although again, it of course costs 150 mon per use, but you can easily get that by selling gear you find at the merchant. That way you won't really run into money problems. And also cool, by the way, when you use a tool, Naoe will throw money on the ground. And Yasuke does this too, but when doing an ability, because with his katana, the Whisper of Gold, you get 50% ability damage in exchange for 150 mon on an ability activation. But I really wonder if anyone at Ubisoft tested this, because this is what a normal katana does with a power dash ability, and now when I do the same ability but with the 50% ability damage, it's almost the same, but you're paying 150 mon every time you use an ability. So I really hope they improve or change this perk, because apart from the golden look, this is a really bad New Game Plus reward for Yasuke. Completing a second New Game Plus run doesn't give you anything special, by the way, but every run you do up until the 8th run will become more challenging if you are up for it. Although, and maybe you already noticed this, the memories for Naoe and Yasuke, especially when fighting the 3 students, are already really hard in your first New Game Plus playthrough, especially if you, like me, play on the Nightmare difficulty. Took me many tries to complete it. And you should, by the way, be able to do as many New Game Plus runs as you want, but the difficulty will stay the same after run number 8. Some other important things that are worth noting: to access the Claws of Awaji DLC, you need to have completed that Out of Shadows mission. So make sure that you are at that point with a save that you want to use. So if you start New Game Plus, you want to finish it, otherwise you cannot do the DLC with this save. And there will of course also still be Animus Anomaly missions that require you to do the arena, but you only unlock that again later in New Game Plus. So I would then recommend that you simply go back to your first playthrough, quickly do the arena mission there, and then return to your New Game Plus playthrough so you don't miss out on the data fragments. Another tip is to get the rumors again at the safe houses, because yeah, you want to reveal those locations again on the map. Also, of course, make sure you get all the quests again, especially those that require you to kill enemies in a certain region, so they are active in the background. And if you got any tips for New Game Plus, you can of course drop them in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already for way more Shadows content, a like would be awesome, and check out my recent video by clicking on the screen. I will speak to you very soon. Goodbye.